Hey, Chelsea. Psst. Come here. Come on, come on. Like, sit. What are you doing here by yourself? They didn't take you again, huh? Well, you know, if they thought they could take you anywhere without having to yell at you, or maybe that you'd embarrass them, you'd probably get to go places. Yeah, I know you didn't know any better, but that's because you didn't understand what they were trying to tell you. First they told you what they wanted, and that didn't work. Then they started yelling commands at you, like, heel, heel, like, you know, you had some kind of heel genes built in your system or something. Then they tried the cookie method. Now this is the thing where you try to control your dog by dangling a treat in front of his face all the time. Wrong. And you remember what happened then. I mean, you left him standing there on the sidewalk, waving these cookies around, screaming at you. They chased you for 3 hours, and when they finally caught you, they yelled at you even worse. Yeah, and their kids ate your cookies, didn't they? Now I'm going to give you something, Chelsea, and this is going to solve all your problems. It's great. Only kind of leave it around and act like it's their idea. Chelsea, take this and use it, because I care about you, and I want to see you happy. Okay. All right. Hey, I gotta go. Bye. You know, it's not easy for dogs to master human social behavior. Well, you know, it's not even easy for most human beings to get it right half the time. When you use this program, make sure that you're not skipping ahead and going on to something you're not ready for. It's important to do it step by step, just like you see it on the tape. That's the way to properly socialize your dog and be a totally responsible pet owner. Now, to get the results you see on this video, you're going to need the right tools for the job. First, the training collar. This is the piece of equipment that your dog's going to be wearing all the time, so make sure it's something of quality. Don't get one of those ridge things that you find on the grocery store shelf. Put it on your dog just like this, with the running part of the chain going through the ring from the top. The dog should be on your left when you're trying this, and where my finger is, that's where the leash is going to hook on. Now, if you can't find equipment near you, look in our catalog. The next piece of equipment you're going to need is going to be the 15-foot long line. And it is 15 foot long, as you might have guessed, and it is made out of cotton. It's not polyester and it's not nylon. Nylon can rush through the dog's leg and possibly cut him. We want to use only cotton. Next, we have the 6-foot leash. That's the third piece of equipment. I like to use leather. Some people like to use nylon. They like to use cheap latigo. I find that stretches and prolongs corrections. I want to spend more time having fun with the dog and less time correcting him. These leashes will last you forever if you get a good one. Next is the tab. It's simply a very small piece of cloth that makes a handle that'll go through your collar later in the training. Next we have the throw chain. This is something else you're not going to find in your local pet store. Check our catalog. And next is your light line. Simply 25 to 50 feet of very light line. It's the last thing you'll use before going off leash. Hey! Fluffy! You've been in there a long time, haven't you? Couple hours, huh? Would you want to sit in there some more? Or would you rather go out and get trained? All right, here. Let's just hook this on. Here.
Come on,
To understand why we confine the dog, let's just ask ourselves this question.
Oh, this is gonna be
If
great.
the dog really wanted to learn, don't you think it'd learn a lot faster? Well, that's why we want to confine it. But if he's confined, the work is going to seem like freedom. Isn't that right, Dennis?
Dave, let's party.
What we're going to do is we're going to work on the attention training sequence with Todd here. And he's a little Brittany, and he is about 1.5 years old. Now, for the purpose of our demonstration, you see, Todd likes to get excited. And they're going to alternate usually in this phase of the training from either trying to bolt away, to let you try to drag them because they refuse to move. This is your typical dog that won't walk on a leash sometimes. Or they're going to be very excited, like Todd here is, and he's a pretty good-natured little dog, but he just really doesn't care too much about where I am. He's too interested in the cameraman and some of the other dogs we have here, and he really isn't very attentive. So what we're going to do is teach him the attention training. Before we can teach him any commands, we want to teach him to watch where I am, because his world, for our purposes, is going to revolve around me for a little while. So, and now he's getting ready to charge, as you can see here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set my long line pattern up, and remember, when you're working with a dog that's this quick, that you hold your long line the right way. That is, like that, in both hands. Don't spread your arms out because you don't want to absorb the shock. You want to make it all down at the end of the line. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to begin to move in my long line pattern, and Todd here is going to learn that he can only get so far away from me before his freedom has a little bit of a string attached. Okay? And here we go.
My long line pattern is going to consist of a square that's 50 to 75 feet at a side. For those of you that aren't going to go out and measure, that's between 20 and 25 paces. Notice also how I'm going to walk my pattern. I don't want to look at the dog, talk to the dog, or pet the dog. I just want to walk. And the only way I can fail this exercise is if I stop before I get to my corner.
What's going on out here? Okay, now that wasn't too unpleasant. Now, if I'd have been standing right over him trying to jerk him along with me, he might have got some kind of a bad association about me.
We want to wait for his attention to stray at each corner before we start walking again.
That was a bad turn for Todd. But you see, he doesn't really blame me for it, not like I'm getting mad at him for anything. And I'm going to stand here and let him get distracted.
You want to stand at your corners 2 to 3 minutes to let your dog's attention lag. Remember, if he doesn't realize you're moving away, he'll find out soon enough. You have to let him make his own decision to watch you.
Now, whether your dog is one of the dogs that will come right along with you and watch you, like Todd is doing right now. You see, when we started out, he didn't really care too much about where I was, but watch me stop. Okay. See, now he wants to look at me a little bit closer. And you'll also notice that he starts to gravitate closer to my legs, because he's figured out that if he stands there looking at something else and he doesn't know that I leave, I can actually get far enough away that he'll get caught by that line. Now he starts to move when I move. You see how that works? Now, if I would have had him on a short leash trying to jerk him around and yell at him, he might even be pretty upset with me right now, thinking that I was trying to kill him or something. Now watch. Okay, we see some eye contact now. He's watching a little bit. Now watch when I start to move. Let's see if he moves too.
Now I know what you're saying. Dave, this is just too easy. What about the dog that doesn't want to get trained? The dog that'll either drag you or refuse to move. Well, we got them both in one dog.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm not gonna look. Oh my God. Oh, just like that. Now the ultimate cruelty here would have been to stop and go back and see what was wrong. There was nothing wrong. The ultimate cruelty would have been to convince this dog that by laying down and screaming, he could control us. Okay? See, oh, now look at his, can you see his tail? I'm not gonna look at him, okay? I'm going to get ready to walk again.
Now, until he understands what we're doing, he may protest or even cry a little bit. It's kind of like my first day of school. I cried until lunch. That was my freshman year.
And you're taking charge of things, and you'll notice a change immediately. This type of behavior, here we go, should put an end to all of those, or to those of you who think that your dog is undergoing some kind of emotional trauma, because 10 minutes ago he was trying to convince us that somebody stapled his tail to the ground, and now he's fine. Okay? He's not finding that it works with me because I won't look down. Oh, what was that?
Now Flint changes strategies.
He's really trying to hit me now. Watch. Now, see, hey, really trying to get some attention. After this is over, I'm going to the hospital where this dog and I will be surgically separated. Now, if your dog behaved this way, and he would walk with you just like this in the park, most people would think he was trained. Now, we've spent our 25 minutes out here doing these patterns with a few minutes rest at each separate corner. One of the things that we have to make sure that we do in order to get this lesson deep down into his skinny little brain is that we can't erase the effects of it by trying to apologize to him for trying to teach him something after we get done. And what I mean by this is the common practice of, after obedience class, stripping the leash off of your dog, clapping your hands, and trying to get him to go crazy and celebrate being done with it. Because then you're telling him what you just did must have been something bad, or you wouldn't be celebrating so much. I'm going to let go of the line. The dog doesn't know that I've let go because my attitude's not going to change to, where is he? I'm going to stay just as confident, just as relaxed. And if I move, the dog really, now this is not something I want you to do at home, but just look at how the dog's still paying attention to me. If I actually move over here, okay, we still have the dog's attention. He doesn't know we're not holding the other end of that line, by the way. He still thinks he's completely under control. Now, eventually, when we have the line all the way off, he'll still feel he's completely under control, and the times he'll feel most secure and most happy is when he's right with you, which is just what we want, isn't it?
Before we start, remember, confinement for 1 to 2 hours, either in a sky kennel or on a short chain. That's the dog, not you. And then, stand on the first corner of your square and begin walking your pattern. Remember to pause a few minutes at each corner, and no talking, no looking, and no petting the dog. Then we come to the cool down. Drop the line and spend a few minutes just standing relaxed. Don't worry that the dog's going to run off. You can always step on the handle if he gets too boisterous. Then return home. This one you might want to write down. But when you get there, make sure you leave the dog alone for a little while, at least an hour before feeding or playing with him. We want the dog to think that we're more interesting than all the distractions he could see. How do we do it? We make them less attractive. The way we do that is every time the dog decides to go for a distraction, he gets something unpleasant. Now remember, we're not yelling at him or trying to force him. We're just letting him make his own decision, who he'd rather watch. It's no fair for your distractions to call the dog or look at it.
Now at this point, I think Todd has found something a little bit more interesting than this other dog over here. And we don't want to look down and stare at him or he's going to look away. We're just going to remain the object of interest here. And we're going to teach him that he was right because we're going to turn around, walk away, and let him come with us and let him see that as long as he's with us, everything's still okay.
And look at this. He's closer to me on 15 feet of loose line than he used to be on 6 feet of short
What
leash.
is this? See, I'm not talking to Barney. And now Barney's pretty attentive. Matter of fact,
this is a biting machine, yeah.
Barney would rather watch me than watch this game of catch going on right now.
Now sometimes, the dog wants to get your attention rather than give you his, and he might do that by trying to jump on you. Ooh, so you lift your leg up a little bit. You're not signaling to jump on you by hitting your chest. You can do it if you want to. It's just that every time he jumps, he gets something he doesn't want. While your dog's in confinement, set up a couple distractions. Then, bring him into the area and approach those distractions with him on the long line. If he starts to leave you, turn and move quickly in the opposite direction, and be sure to move at least 15 feet after the jolt. Then wait a minute. Make another approach toward the distraction, and after he's refused it 3 consecutive times, find another distraction and repeat the exercise. 2 to 3 distractions per session. Then cool down. Now for lesson 2, you're going to progress from your long line to the leash. You're going to learn the heel and the sit placement. But before you do, let's check and make sure that you're ready. If you can take your dog like this, and notice how I'm keeping the dog between me and this fence, that's so when Dennis drops our distraction, the dog will see it all of a sudden. Then I want to turn around and run in the opposite direction. If that line can tighten before I get away, I know I'm not ready to move ahead. But
if your dog can do this on the long line, and he passes this kind of a test, then he's earned his leash and he's ready to progress to heeling, which we're going to deal with in our next session.
what is heeling? Well, this is heeling. The dog stays on your left side no matter where you go or what you do. Now look at this other dog. He doesn't know heeling. These dogs are all trained, and we call this section a little bit of a future pace. It shows you what you're going to get at the end of the course. And now, let's work on some heeling.
Chelsea, ready? How much is that doggy in the window? Well, there's no pause there, and we're going to have to do that over now. The heel command is an important command, and it's also important to know how to talk to your dog and what tone of voice. Make sure you make your tone of voice easy to understand, but firm and not too overpowering like a Marine drill sergeant or anything. Let's try it at home. You just say, Fluffy, heel, just like that. Fluffy, heel. Now you try it with your own dog. Let me say something here. If you even started to call your own dog Fluffy, just because I did, then take this tape down to the store and exchange it for that dandy Battle of the Monster trucks you've been wanting so bad.
And now let's go back to the dog training ranch in Wichita, Kansas with my well-behaved assistant, Dennis.
Well, it depends on what kind of dog you are. Right now, you're a pretty attentive dog, so let's both walk together like this. Here we are walking, okay? And let's say that you see for instance, our cameraman, David, over there, okay? And you want to go over and check out and see what he's doing. So now, see, you're not looking at me, but you don't know where I am, do you? No, you still think we're together. And you start to walk slightly ahead. Now look, when you're right there, for me to turn, now just stay there and walk in place. You're slightly ahead, and I notice you're ahead, and before I let you pull on the leash, I'm going to release it, grab it with both hands, turn, and walk the other way, so that you get a correction.
Right.
Put your leash down there. If you were a dog, how would you interpret this?
Well, you're jerking on me, Dave.
That's right. You don't feel too good about it, do you?
I don't like you.
That's right. I've got it right around your dog there, okay? And now, here's what we're going to do. How would you interpret this, the same thing?
Oh, a little,
Hey,
a little less
you don't feel bad about me, do you?
No.
Okay? It's kind of like the difference between going like that, okay, or going like this. And we'll show everybody at home how to do this.
And then I'm just going to be focused.
You're kind of the active type of guy now, okay? So here we go. Okay, heel. Okay, and you're going to walk forward. Now, see, he's losing me. Now I've got so many seconds. Oh, here I turn. Dennis! Hey! How are you? Okay? So, how'd you feel about that? Once you got back to me, it was kind of nice, wasn't
it?
Okay, it was kind of nice. Dennis likes that. So now I'm going to turn right on you because that exaggerates the distance between us.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to drop my loop as I pivot, like that, and then I got my hands here, turn my shoulders, and step out. And you see how far I can get away from you in just one step? It's pretty drastic, isn't it? Okay. The other turn that we're going to learn is the left turn. The left turn is important because after I've got Dennis convinced of the fact that I could turn right about or go right, and he can't lag or forge ahead or go real wide on me, where are you going to be? Right there, because we're buddies, okay? We're buddies now. Here we go. And we're heeling, and Dennis is walking along, and he's almost leeching on me. And this is the kind of dog that a lot of times, you know, you got to keep pushing off of you like this. I'm going to teach Dennis just like we fire retro rockets on rocket ships. Sometimes, see, I've apparently fired retros over here, and now you're going psst, and now I want to fire a little retro over here, psst, and get you back over in the center, okay? So I'm going to trap like this, pivot with this foot, and turn. And if you're trapped right here, and I step out, you've got to go this way, okay? See, we've taken him back about a foot. His nose isn't in front of me anymore. I'm going to do a left. Look at him pivot. Wow. Look at him pivot. Hey, there he is. Come on. Sit. Start back the other way. And now watch. Come back up to me. Watch the gather up. And you see, I'm gathering my lead in. I'm not trying to gather it up like this so it spooks the dog. I'm doing everything out of sight over here. And practice this move at home without a dog.
Well, you know, the heeling correction is an important turn to learn so that you know how to properly get away so that you're not associating the correction with yourself. I read a book recently where they said to practice this by hooking the leash onto sofa pillows and then jerking those around. Well, if you think you've got to, go ahead, but I've got to warn you of some of the dangers. I read recently where an elderly woman was savagely mauled by a vicious pit group.
Okay, let's face him the way we want to go, and we're going to go right over here for a distraction. I've got my loop, and I want to hold my hand about belt level, a little bit lower. Not over here in front of the dog, but over here, because I'm going to step into the leash on my first step. Okay, ready? And now watch how I'm going to congratulate Todd on the very first step just for moving, okay? Even though I'm going to move him. Todd, heel, let's go.
Now,
Good.
unlike attention
All
training,
right.
when he
already
favors
did
us with
something
his
right.
attention,
Now I'm gonna
we'll
watch
give him
my
some
knees, and
praise
I'm
in
gonna start
return.
Kind of animated. Todd, heel, good. See, I kind of lean forward. Hey, that's a good dog.
Now, if your dog should make the mistake of trying to walk on the wrong side, now see, here we are trying to communicate with him on the left side, and he's over here on the right. We've got to teach him that he made the wrong decision, but we're not going to get mad at him. We're just going to put him in the position where it's not so positive a thing to be on the wrong side. We do that by keeping the leash tight as we pivot to face him, and then we just shuffle right through him and welcome him back when he gets to the side we want him on.
Good. Come on, there. There. Now I'm going to stop, okay? Good. All right. See, everything's fine on this side. This is our left side. But when he crosses over behind me, I'm going to do that little winching move and step back into him to where he has to fight his way back around. Now, watch when I turn my body away. Todd, come on, where are you? See how he has to move up about 1.5 feet? Okay, so inadvertently, a lot of handlers are teaching their dogs to heel back further because they like to look backwards and walk like this. Well, technically, he's right. He's right even with your shoulder. If you move your shoulder up, now he's gone. I can't see him. Todd, in order to make eye contact, he's got to be here. Good.
And now we're going to learn the sit. Of course, you all know what this looks like, but let's see why we do it. When we come to a stop at a busy street, we don't want the dog just wandering around our legs. And if you haven't got this, you haven't got sit.
We're going to start working on what we call a sit command. Now, this is not to be confused with the sit, 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 sit command that most of you know, that you have to say about 10 times, and then the dog finally, because he gets bored or wants to look up at you, ends up assuming a sitting position. This is actually, now we're not going to give that sit command unless we're physically able to place the dog in position. He has no say in it at all. We're going to put him in the position, and then we're going to praise him for doing a good job. Even though he did absolutely nothing, we did it all. And here's how we start this out. As you see here, while we're heeling, the dog assumes our heeling position, but when we stop, maybe he really doesn't know what to do. Well, after our session for heeling is over, we're going to start placing him in a sit. And I don't want to do this while we're heeling. We're going to wait a little while, because during the heeling process, the dog can still be lagging, he can still be forging ahead a little bit, he can still be out too far to the side. If he is any of those things, and we stop and try to sit him in the proper position, it's going to involve pulling him to us or pulling him back, and I don't want any negative association made with the sit command. So after we get done with our heeling session, we're just going to bring the dog to the same training area, keep him in the area, and we're going to do 5 or 6 of these quick little sit commands. And it goes like this. And I'm going to move you over here a little bit, Flint. Okay, come over here. Come on. Right there. Okay, now, we take one hand back here, we take the other hand, we put it on the chest, right under the neck, and then we take the other hand and we pet down across the rear end, and when we get down here, we just kind of, like we're doing a little real slow motion little karate chop. We just touch them and they'll sit right on your hand, and you want to say the dog's name and the SIT command, okay? Flint, sit. Good. And then we praise just like that. Yes. All right. Okay. Now, if they want to jump right back up, don't worry about it. You have the more active dogs. They don't want to hold that position very long. You praise them until they get up, and then you stop. And then you can heel a few more feet and try the sit again. Hey, come on. Heel. Atlas, sit. Good. I want to just take my hands and put them right in the back part of those legs back there, okay? Like that. Here we go. Steve, sit. Doesn't like that hand under there too much, do you?
Now, in Lesson 2, to summarize, first we're going to confine the dog as always before working him. Then, we're going to heel. Remember, let your dog's inattentiveness determine the direction of your turns. Don't etch some pattern in stone and go out and walk the same thing every time. If he goes ahead of you, you're going to respond by going back the other way. This is going to teach him that he needs to watch you, because that's the only way he'll know how to be on the left side and getting the praise that he needs all the time. If he lags behind you, counter that by exaggerating the distance by turning and stepping right. Remember, on any of your turns, you're dropping that loop so you can surprise him. And if he drifts way to the side, you're going to do another right turn. This exaggerates the distance again. Remember, it's kind of like having an attention zone right around your body. When he gets outside of it, you do the appropriate turn. And if he violates your space by crowding you, pivot, trap the leash, and go left. And as soon as he pivots, you release the leash. Also, work on your sit command. Remember, just place him in the sit, praise him for a good job. Do it about 6 times per session. After I've spent 4 days on Lesson 2, I'm ready for Lesson 3. That's 2 new versions of the heel and sit, and a new command called the down. But first, let's see if you're ready. Here's the test. If you can heel and your dog doesn't lag behind or forge ahead, you're probably ready for Lesson 3. If not, stay on Lesson 2 for a few more days.
In this section of our healing, we're going to do something a little bit more fun. We're going to change pace. And what that means is instead of just taking our usual healing pace, we're going to speed it up, and we might even slow it down a little bit alternately so the dog can see that if we take a couple fast steps every now and then, maybe we have to run across the street or something. But if we break into a run for some reason and the dog's on the leash, that it's not some kind of a signal for him to go crazy and start jumping all over us or to take out running ahead of us. And Sweet Pea here is an Australian Shepherd, and her great characteristics is she has this one half of an eye that's blue. She's a good girl, she is. Okay, and she's all ready to work. So we're going to do some change of pace work. Here we go. I'll describe what we're doing. Sweet Pea, heel. Good. As soon as she starts out, she did something right, so I can tell her how good she is. I'm going to go left now. Good. Look at how she pivots to go left. Good. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Look. She almost hops over to the side. Good dog. Sit. There you go. Good dog. That's a good dog. And I'll give her just a quick little pat. No more than that when we praise. More vocal. Now see, I wouldn't want to pet her at all now. I want to pet her when I can get her eye contact. Sweet Pea. Hey, all right. That's when it means something. Oh, I know it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. And Dennis is going to, well, it looks like Dennis is playing some ball over here, and she's interested in that. So we're going to use that as a distraction. Okay. Dennis, why don't you sit down and bat the ball back and forth? Okay. Here we go. Sweet Pea, heel. Good. Hey, where are you? Come on. What was that? What was that? See, and you're never mad at them for making a mistake, because their mistakes are what they need to become aware of things. That's right. Good. Now here's some change of pace. Come on. Oh, come on. Good. Now I'm going to slow down, way down, and sit. Good. All right, here we go. Up, up. I go up when I want to speed up. Good. Good. That's right. Sit. Ah, what a girl. Good. Let's go. Up. Good. Good. There you go. And then we slow back down to normal. Good. Let's go. Come on, Flip. Good. Now, he's in perfect healing position, so I can try my stop. I'm going to choke down on the snap. Flint, sit. Now, my thumb is toward my body, and I grab the dog's loins back here with pronged fingers. I don't want to try to lay my hand down on his rear, because that's kind of like, it feels good, so they stand up. It's kind of like when you rub a cat up here and he pushes his rear up higher. One of the most common errors is to start concentrating, come here, on the head too much and forgetting the rear, so that you end up with a sit that looks like that, way out to the side. And if you're teaching the sit that way, that's the way it's going to end up forever. The other problem is, heel, come up here. People that try to get their hand back on the rear, they forget about the head and start doing this. Okay? The dog won't sit unless the head is up at the same time, like that. Hey, all right, good. Here we go. Chelsea, heel. All right, good. Good. Now, I'm not going to stop yet because Chelsea was lagging a little bit. Sit. Good. And you see, I'm going to have to bend my knees a little bit. I don't want to try to bend over like this all the time.
Let's
Barney,
practice
heel.
our
Let's
healing
go.
around distracting
Good,
situations.
good.
Luckily,
Sit.
my next-door neighbor
That's
Dennis
good.
is out on his
Hey, what's
exercise
Dennis doing
break,
there?
as he is every day at this time. We're going to use
Barney,
him as
heel.
a distraction.
Good. Let's go. Up. Good. Barney, heel. Good. Up. Come on. Good. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Good. Sit. Good. See how the hands have to get ready before we actually stop? This way it assures us that he's perfectly straight. See, I'm not pulling it up because, look, now the dog knows where I am, okay? I'm going to reach down. See, watch the leash here. It doesn't change.
Okay.
Doesn't change. Okay? So we're walking along. I go to here, and then I go sit. Like that. Just like that. And then I praise him.
Now, if your dog is one of these that doesn't like its rear end touched, it'll whirl away from you when you try to place it in the sit. So put it up against a fence like I'm doing right here, and the sit placement is much easier. Yeah. Now our next command, the down. And not only is it easy for a dog to do, but to demonstrate it, we're going to try using a pig.
Good. Sit. Good dog. Good dog. Okay. Good. Steve, down. All right. Good. Sit. Okay. Now, about 1 out of every 4 times that I stop and sit, I want to use this command. Don't, because we just started it, start using it every time you stop. Like you heel, and then you sit, and then you down. If you do, your dog will walk up to a stop, he will get a sit position, and then in 3 seconds he'll automatically lay down. So we want to kind of intersperse this with about 3 or 4 different sit commands. Then we want to go to a down command. Okay? Seltzer, down. Good. Now, down commands are very tough for some dogs. The more dominant personalities do not like to lay down for you because that's a sign of submissive behavior. Some of these dogs are very dominant animals. So we're going to stand on our leash first, and then we're going to take our hand, put it across the collar and the neck, and then put the elbow across the back. Then we're going to take our other hand and reach under here, kind of pop the front legs out from under him. Okay? and we're going to give the command, the dog's name, and then the down command, okay? Chelsea, down. Oh, yeah. Okay, here, no biting, okay? If you get any biting like that, it's up under the chin, and now she's thoroughly depressed. Some of you may have trouble trying to reach all the way under a big dog like this and lift 170 pounds up and telling it to lay down. So here's the alternate method. You're just going to take one leg, keep your pressure on the shoulders, and you're going to lift the leg up and then push down that way. Down. Yes. And now. Okay, and then that's where he stays. And I think he's had it. Okay.
And here's your homework for Lesson 3. Confine your dog for a few hours before each session. You're going to walk up to distractions and give the sit command, placing your dog in the sit. And then, on your heeling, you're going to make sure that you change pace. That means speeding up or slowing down alternately, so the dog has to pay closer attention. Then, about 1 out of every 4 times that you stop, you're going to put the dog in a down position with the down command, and then praise the dog. After you've spent about 4 days on Lesson 3, now you're into Lesson 4. You've got a new heel, a new sit, the same old down you were doing, and one called the sit-stay, which is a new command. But before you go on, let's find out if you're ready. By now, during your heeling, you should notice that you don't have to drop the loop when you turn because your dog is attentively holding the heel position. Every time you come to a halt, you're going to sit the dog and give the command.
On the sit command, you're going to place him for about 5 days. By the end of that time, you shouldn't even be able to get your hand on his rear end before he'll sit, before you can actually touch him. But you're still going to try. Now, here's where he has to make his own decision to sit, do the exact same thing that he's been doing all week and getting paid for it. And he's going to be able to do it on his own, or else we're going to correct. And a correction is like this. Instead of gathering the leash up to make the sit placement like we have been, now we're just going to gather it like this. The way I do it is I put it over my thumb, and I put my hands together, and then I drop my hands down so I have plenty of loose leash. Remember, if I'm holding the leash like this, it's not fair to the dog. He has no decision to make then, because then I'm pulling him and forcing him to do what I want instead of letting him decide to do it on his own. If he does it, he gets the praise that he's always got for the last week. If he doesn't, we're going to introduce a little correction that makes him want to sit maybe a little bit quicker next time. Okay? Todd, come on, heel. Come on, let's go. Good. Sit. Good. Come on, let's go. Good. Sit. Good. Notice how I'm always ready to correct, and I'm always ready to praise too if they do it just right. If you have a sit that's completely at an angle, in order to straighten it up, do one thing. Go forward and up, like this. Lift up and go forward, like that. It's a perfect way to put the dog into a perfect sit position. Good. Just like that. And do it before you praise. Don't praise and then correct for the position. Okay, Chelsea, heel. Come on. What a good dog.
Well, you've taught your dog to stick to you like glue, but now you've got a problem. How do you go away by yourself? That's why we learn the sit-stay. Remember, this is a real-life situation here. You're not ready for this yet. Take it one step at a time and start with the basics. And here they are.
Okay, after we come in from our heeling and we do our sit command, we're going to start working on our stay in this lesson. What we wanted to remember first of all is when we teach a dog how to stay, we can't let him mess it up, or else then we're developing a lot of negative connotations with the word. If every time you give the word, you walk away and force the dog to break it, having never had succeeded at it, and all he's getting is corrected and yelled at for not staying, then every time he hears the word stay, automatically he just kind of waits to get yelled at because he knows he's going to blow it. This is a way that they can't blow it. We're going to start him out like this, and I want you to sit up here a little bit, Flint. We're going to move the choke collar way up on the neck, like that. And I'm going to hold it right directly over the top of Flint's head here. That's because I don't want him to stand up. If he tries to stand up right now, his head has to go down for his rear to rise, and if I'm holding this collar like so, his head won't be able to sink without it making it very hard for him to breathe. So he's better off just sitting here. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going to give him some slight little leash motion like this. Then I'm going to give him a stay command. With my hand, I keep this hand where it is. I keep this hand here to do the stay command. Flint, stay. And then I step across in front of him, twist around, and drag my other foot back. Now you notice that neither one of my hands moved away, so he couldn't have thought that I was going to heel because I didn't step out with my leg that was next to him. I stepped out with my right leg this time. I have both hands in the same place. He's being held up. We just let him stay there for about 10 seconds. We step back in, we pivot back, and then we release this, and he's a good boy. That's right. Now, right after a stay command, you don't just go right back into another stay and do it 5 times in a row. You praise the dog, and then immediately go back into your patterns of heel and sit. Todd, stay. And you notice he didn't even see it. But we don't worry about that. He just knows that it's not going to move. 10 seconds go by, I step back in. And then, good, all right. And then we go right back into our heeling right away. Okay, Todd, heel. Good, let's go.
Now let's review what we learned in Lesson 4. As always, we confine our dogs, and if you don't have a Sky Kennel, don't try to substitute.
Steve, heel, all right.
The heel command should be followed by changes of pace now, and use lots of distractions.
Come on. Good. Come on. Starting to lag a little bit, aren't you?
Also, remember to make
Good.
corrective
There
turns
you
if you
go.
need to.
There you go. Hey!
And at every stop, you're going to sit on command or give a correction.
Steve.
You're also going to place your dog in the down position
All right.
1 time for every 4 that you stop.
Good.
And on your sit stay, you're going to step around in front, stand there for 10 seconds, and then return. 6 times per session, and gradually lengthen your stays to 30 seconds by the end of the week. Just waiting here for session 5. Good. In Lesson 5, we're going to do a new heel, we're going to do a new sit, we're going to do a new down, and we're also going to do a new sit stay. But first, let's find out if you're ready to go on. If your dog will sit on command, even in the presence of a distraction, then you're ready to move on.
Here's what we're going to do if you're having a problem with the dog that wants to swing way wide while he's heeling and stand out here and look at you from about 5 feet away. And no matter how far you turn right or how many times you turn right, he still likes to keep his distance a little bit. This is called the pole turn. And this is a great little trick to use on the dog that just doesn't want to get close to you. It forces him to stay close to you or he gets wrapped around the wrong side of a pole. I'll have Dennis out here and explain how this works in a second. But now let's watch how it's done right and see if Simba can do this here. Simba, heel. Good, let's go. Oh, what was that? All right, here we go. Simba, heel. Okay, now he's been polled once. Now we're going to see if he reacts a little faster. Oh, there! Hey! Yes! Now look at the accuracy of his turns now. Come on. Come on. Good. Changing the pace. The lefts. Okay. Good. The rights. Good. The right about. Good, Simba. Good, Simba. Good.
We just learned how to
Good.
foil the dog that
Sit.
wants to heel way wide
And
on the
sit
turns.
command. Wow.
Well,
What a
that was the
dog.
right pole turn. Now let's learn how to do the left one. This is to foil the dog that wants to move out in front of us and stand about 5 feet out in front, looking back at us instead of pivoting like he should.
You're getting ready to watch for that left turn, and as I turn, right, and look who's on the wrong side of the pole. I'm going to cut right across here, and you're caught again. And then, as soon as I know you're caught, it's going to take this long. You're caught, I'm going to go sideways, pull you around, and then say, Fluffy, Dennis, come back. How are you doing? Let's go at it again. Come on, let's go. Right in there, okay? She knows the importance of being on the good side of that pole. Now, as you can see, Steve's starting to sit here without me even having to say the sit command. And I'm working him in an area where there aren't any distractions to throw him off track. He's kind of just basically doing what he's been doing all along. Every time I've stopped, I've gotten him used to being sat or hearing the sit command and then getting corrected for failing to sit. So it's kind of a habit by now. You'll notice your dog doing this after the first 4 or 5 days. He'll sit automatically a lot of times before you can even say it. And sometimes you might forget to say it and he'll go ahead and do the sit. That's when we know that he's ready to do automatic sits. So from now on, for the entire time that we're going to be working with the dog, we're going to demand that they sit automatically without any type of a clue from us, like a command or anything like that. And basically what we're going to start doing is we're just going to stop, shut up, get ready, and if they don't sit, we're going to give the correction just like we would have told them and they didn't do it. Now, we want to test for our automatic sitting ability using some distractions out here. We're going to let Steve come right in on a heel toward these distractions, and I'm going to stop and say nothing, but I'm going to prepare to correct. If Steve doesn't sit automatically, I'll give the correction. This is what really cements in that automatic sitting, okay? Here we go. Steve, heel. Come on. Good. Ready? Heel. Good.
Well, before we move in for another close-up, let's go to Dennis with a new command.
Good. Okay, Dennis, now we're going to practice this down command. And here's what I want you to see from the dog's point of view, okay? I want to use a little bit of psychology here and show you what the dog's going through while we're trying to teach it the down command. Now, here's your dog, okay? He is sitting, so sit back here a little bit, okay? He's sitting, and we want him to lay down. Now, we know, Dennis, we know that he doesn't know exactly what these words mean until we can associate them with an act. So if I say down and then I attempt to make him lay down by pushing him, first of all, Dennis, do you think that I'm trying to make you lay down, or what's your first thought?
Well, you're just trying to push me into the ground.
Yeah, because what's happening? I'm pushing your head into the ground, and that's not very pleasant. If we try to pull Todd, look what happens. He doesn't want to get down there. And if we try to push him, he ends up looking like a water pump or something. He's going to do this, okay? It's like he won't let his head go down. So come here, Todd. Sit right there. We're having a little fun with Todd. I'm going to make one little movement. I'm going to keep it between here and here. And I'm going to touch you like that so that I've got 6 inches of free slack that I can get moving. It's kind of the principle behind the battering ram, Dennis. If I put my battering ram up against the door and just tried to push it, why would I even want to do it? I want to get the battering ram, move it back from the door, and then hit the door, okay? That way I can have a lot more momentum. So here's the down command. If I say, Dennis, down, and you don't do it, I'm going to go, boom, right over. Todd, down. Right off the feet. Hey, all right, good. Now I'm ready to go, and I don't have to be like this. I can just be slightly bent over, knees flexed, and I'm ready to chop to my toe. Simba, down. Good. You know, that was the down correction for a larger dog. But if you have a shorter dog, like Seltzer here, you have to remember that instead of grabbing all this leash out here and giving yourself plenty of slack, that you're going to crash your knuckles into the ground before you correct the dog. So remember, move the hands up closer to your dog. This is all part of the natural selection process, I guess. While all the larger breeds were getting corrected into extinction, these little guys were just developing shorter and shorter legs.
No, come on. Come on, heel. Come here. Come here. Okay, now sit. Sit. Okay, Sweet Pea, you ready?
Dennis!
Oh, hi, Dave.
Wow, what are you working on here?
Well, we're working on Sweet Pea, and I'm teaching her how to stay today.
Okay. Well, I see that you're working on something, but I don't know if it's teaching the stay so well.
Okay.
You need some help, Dennis.
Well, I thought I was doing real good, Dave.
Okay, well, what you're teaching Sweet Pea here, I couldn't help but see over here, is that when she breaks that stay, what did you do? Did you make any type of correction?
Well, I brought her back around, and I was going to approach it again until we get it
well,
right.
let's just look at the mechanics of this. Okay, now let me just give you an illustration here that's pretty graphic, Dennis. Sweet Pea, go. Okay, come over here. We're going to do this little sit-stay, okay? Now let's just imagine that you're the dog, so you grab onto this part, and I'll be the handler again.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I want you to stay, so I will say, Dennis, stay. I'll pivot around, and I'll do my step out, just like so, okay? Now, if you were to try to move, and let's say go around over here, go ahead. Start to move. I want to step in, and I want to stop that movement. If I let you get behind me, and then I'm going to have to take you for a walk all the way around, and you kind of like that, don't you?
Right.
Okay? So I want to step in and grab you here, then I'm going to put my foot where you were, over here, and I'm going to put you back there along the ground, back here,
Okay.
like that. And then I'm going to step out again without saying a word. Now here's the important thing. Remember that if the dog does break the command when we move back, we correct, step back to where we were, and then just wait about 10 seconds. Don't stand there for the whole minute or the whole 30 seconds. If the dog broke the command, he obviously needs some more reinforcing of how to do it right, not to just have you sit out there and wait for him to screw up again so that you can go in and correct him again. I want to get him to do it right so he can get paid and see the benefits of doing it the correct way, okay? And see, Seltzer's held a stay here pretty long. He's done a good boy. All right. And you notice if you can get them to look at you, how you can change their attitude a little bit. You can get them a little bit more animated. Seltzer, hey, all right, hey. And raise your voice up a little bit. Okay, heel, come on, come on. Now this recess stuff's easy because this is stuff he knows and he has fun doing because all he gets when he does this is good stuff, isn't it? Because he doesn't do any of it wrong.
Let's review Lesson 5. Begin with confinement and then move to your area and start doing your pole turns. Remember, you're going to cure drifting to the side with the right turns and pivoting out too wide with the left. Then, we want to work on automatic sits. The dog should sit without any command at all. If he doesn't, make sure you're there to correct. Remember to praise him at the end, though. And then we do the down command. On the command, the dog should down, and if he doesn't, you're going to correct and then praise him. On the sit-stay, you're going to step back for just a few seconds and gradually stretch it out to about a minute. Remember, after you return, praise the dog.
You do very beautiful thing with the dog.
Well, thank you.
Yes, she's very beautiful. I can feel also.
Well, I've lost all the relationships that I've ever tried. I had friends desert me, women hurt me. I had a houseplant die. But you're the greatest when you're just by my side, my friend. I met you a year ago, last fall. I was shopping for dress shoes at the East Side Mall. You were laying in a cage, chewing on a rubber ball, my friend. Sometimes you're smart as me, and then
Nick of time. Poor Dennis is having a fit.
Sweeping stick to a two-foot door. That's why I'm at the table and you eat off the floor, my friend.
And you're a professional movie, yes.
For the commercial.
No, my name's Rob Lowe, as a matter of fact. Rob Lowe. This is, we have Clint Eastwood up here. Do you know of him?